So Soto,
Spicy
I kind
one.
of want to play a game with you,
Okay.
and something
Sounds like
happened.
Saw.
Like, well, all right, this is a much safer and dumbass game that we've done in before.
Let's
And I
play a
remember
game.
reading an article or so hearing about this was a few years ago, and I'm going to
Okay.
bring it up on here on the TV in just a moment here. But the whole
Hmm.
idea that is what is older. So I remember hearing about this. Which
What the
came
fuck?
first, sliced bread or Betty White? So I don't know if you heard this, but which do you think would be older? Which came first, Betty White or sliced bread?
Oh, my gut says that sliced bread is older than Betty White. That's just seems like it's common sense.
You would think that is common sense, but the funny thing is, it's not. Betty White actually came before sliced bread.
Oh, come on.
Well, because you got to think about this. Where's it now? Sliced bread probably sold in stores. Because yes, obviously you're thinking about
Oh,
sliced bread. So,
like
but
the
yes,
first time
they
somebody sliced some
actually
bread.
yes, no, they just took fucking loaves of sandwiches. Like, well, it's one loaf. But the whole idea, the whole idea was they did not sell sliced bread, which since 1928. So what's the
The
best thing
best
since
thing
sliced
since
bread?
sliced
No,
bread.
what's the best
Yeah.
thing since Betty White is what it really should be. So yes, no, there was,
Wow.
you could slice it at home, but they didn't start selling it until 1928. So this
Wow.
article, this kind of came up again, and I was like, wow, Betty White's older than sliced bread. That's hilarious to me.
Hmm.
Then this article came back up, and there were some interesting ones. So we're going to go through a few more, and I kind of want to see what you think. And some of these are really
Okay.
easy, when if you put your brain to it, and some of these are just like really. So yeah. So we're going to go to the next one, and to
Okay.
me, this is actually an easy one. But what came first? The movie Titanic or Daniel Radcliffe?
Oh my God, dude. Okay, I can't tell when people are born anymore because everybody now is born in like 2002, like that I know.
Hmm.
So I have no concept of this, but if I had to think about, okay, I don't know anything about this. This is purely me guessing.
Hmm.
Just, I don't even know when Titanic came out. I have a general idea. I remember the double VHS tape that it was, so only
Oh
seeing
my
one
God.
VHS
Yeah.
tape there is not accurate. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say Daniel Radcliffe came first. Not by a lot, but I think that Daniel Radcliffe came first before Titanic.
Well, guess what? You are actually correct. Because yes, I knew
Yes.
Titanic was 1997. I did
Hmm.
not know his age. It
I knew it
actually
was
surprised.
97.
Yeah,
I
I was
fucking knew it.
surprised that he was born in '89. But I thought like the first Harry Potter was 2002. I'm like, there's no way he's fucking 5 in the first Harry Potter. So that's what I'm like. I knew it was Daniel Radcliffe because I once I put the I knew the year of Titanic and deduced it. So, but yes, Titanic came before. Excuse me, Daniel Radcliffe was born before Titanic. So,
Okay, that makes
all right,
sense. That
yeah.
that one makes me feel good about life. I knew he was. I was thinking maybe the mid 90s or anything like that. Oh God, you're asking a lot, man. I'll tell
Some of
you, my
these, you may,
brain.
yeah, like I would have no clue. I never got into Furbies, but yeah, which came first, Furby or Fergie? You know, Fergie.
Fergie. Okay. Wow. I don't think about Fergie a lot. I know about Furbies because we fucked with those. I'm gonna say. Oh, I really have no idea about Fergie. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Furby came first.
Furby came first. Okay, yeah, I know outside of Fergie being in the Black Eyed Peas, that's the only thing I ever knew of her.
Hmm.
Heard a couple of songs, stuff like that. That's all I knew. But it is not. Fergie is older than I thought. She's older than us. I did
Oh,
not
like
know
when
that.
were they? Oh, that's right. When were
Born,
they born? I was like,
born.
when were they a thing? I was like,
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
know.
no, no.
Fergie.
Born. Real.
Yeah,
So real age. So, yeah, Fergie was born in '75, which
makes
shocked the
sense.
shit out of me. I mean, I wouldn't say. I just did not think she was older than us for some reason. But yeah, Furby wasn't a thing until '98. So no,
Okay.
so real
I
ages,
didn't use my
not
brain
when they're
there.
popular. Yeah, so
I didn't use my brain.
it's
Yeah,
okay.
I
It's
didn't.
early, and we're just doing dumb shit, which
We're
we always
warming
do.
up.
So we're warming up because
Oh
some of
God.
these get even more. So yes, it's their birthday. So, but if we get to the next one, which came first, Tupperware or Leonardo DiCaprio?
Dude, Tupperware definitely came first. That's been around for like ages, like the 50s, right?
So you're going with Tupperware then?
Tupperware's my final answer.
Well, I mean, the good thing is you are correct. So,
Oh
yes,
God, I
Tupperware.
was like wondering where you're going with that.
I was kind of stalling, but yeah, no, Tupperware is 1946, which I had no idea. Like, I didn't think about it. I mean, I knew they used like the jarring system and the, stuff like that, but I
Well,
didn't think,
50s housewives were talking about Tupperware, I think, unless
were
I've
they?
just been hypnotized by movies. My reality is only based on cinema, so if it didn't happen in cinema, it doesn't exist to me.
Yeah. And I knew DiCaprio was a little bit older than us, so I knew his age. I knew
Older than
Tupperware
Fergie.
was older. I just, again, for some reason, I'm like 46. That surprised the shit out of me. So I
Tupperware
just didn't
parties,
know.
man.
Well,
Tupperware
yeah, I
parties. They've
don't
been
think
around for
about
a
that.
long
It's not like I
time.
went to this. So I'll be honest, I didn't really know who Billie Eilish was, but yeah, which came first, Tickle
Really?
Me Elmo or Billie? I kind of heard of her. I couldn't tell you one song she sings. I'm not in today's music. I'm the old man, Soto. I couldn't. I could not. Like, if you could give me $100 right now to name you a Billie Eilish song, I could not do it.
I don't know a song. I've heard her songs. I just watched True Detective season 4, which she had a theme song of, so I kind of like it's more like in my face, but no, I don't know too much Billie Eilish. I think she also like did a James Bond song too for one of the
Maybe.
newer James Bond movies. I know you don't watch movies these days, but
I
unless
used to
they're
watch Bond all
terrible.
the time. I just lost it after the first two Daniel Craig ones. So yeah, I don't
I think
watch
she
them
did one
anymore.
of them. She did.
Ah,
I don't know how many he's done, but she did one.
which came
Yeah.
first, Tickle Me Elmo or Billie Eilish?
I'm basing this on the fact that I remember Tickle Me Elmo in high school, and I know Billie Eilish is nowhere near as old as I am. So I'm gonna say Tickle Me Elmo on this one.
Well, yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, how could I not be?
But it's
Like
not by
I
as much as
remember
you
in
thought,
high
though.
school.
Yeah, I mean, you are, yeah, because Tickle Me Elmo, 96. So I was a senior in high school when Tickle Me Elmo came out. I would have thought I was older than that, too. And Billie Eilish, yeah, 2001. So, she just hit
96,
21,
97,
22.
89.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
probably was like in eighth grade or something like that. I remember Tickle Me Elmo was a thing before Stanley Cups. And people were like, I gotta have Tickle Me Elmo. It's like pre-internet bullshit, rampant fucking consumerism.
the Black
And
Fridays, people are just rushing to
uh,
Walmart and whatnot. Yeah.
stupid shit that they make us fucking buy. Like, obviously in all our lives, we've gone through these peaks and valleys of this shit. Like the dumbest shit that has become crazes this whole time is just insane. Tickle Me Elmo is one of the ones I remember. So is Furby. If you remember, obviously we just talked
I
about
never
that.
got into
That was
Furby.
a thing. Well, it's
Yeah.
like people got to collect things like all the time, Beanie Babies and shit like that. I'm like, and then they rush and fight each other over like who can get them and stuff, and then we just forget about it like
Yeah.
just really quickly and be like, okay, that was a thing. And then like we'll have trivia 10 or 15 years later and be like, you remember Stanley Cups? Remember that whole time?
Yeah. All right. So the next one, which
Oh.
came first, Post-it notes or Jennifer
I
Lopez?
feel like, and I know the story behind Post-it Notes, which is apparently based off of an accident. Jennifer
Correct.
Lopez might have been too. I don't know if that's the case. I wasn't there.
Well, I think half the people are,
Um,
made from accidents. So
yeah, yeah, sure.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. We'll discuss that in a more like in a
I
different
don't know if
time.
the math is right. It just sounds right to me.
We'll unpack that. Um, I'm gonna say that it's Jennifer Lopez. Like she came first.
And you would be correct, sir. She did come first.
Mm.
And you're right. Post-it notes were accidentally invented in 1974. So right
Ah,
before all that
yes.
times. And yeah, she was born in 1969. So kind of very close there. But yeah, I don't know the full story behind it, but I do remember, yeah, Post-it notes, being accidentally invented. And I also know, I feel like if I remember correctly, what was that movie? Romeo and Michelle. They tried to pretend like they created the Post-it notes. Like, I vaguely don't
Oh
remember
my
that movie,
God.
but I remember them saying they were the creators of Post-it notes because no one would believe the story, so they would believe them. Some bullshit like that, but yeah. But yes, you are right. Jennifer Lopez did come before Post-it notes. So,
Yeah,
all
no,
right.
I feel like so it's Thursday, so this is great because like the 99 restaurant has their trivia nights on Thursday nights. So I
I've
feel
not done
like
trivia in so long. I should do that.
I feel like I'm there, but yeah, like just like when you forget it's trivia night and you go out to dinner, and then you're like, why are people on a microphone all of a sudden? And then people are like desperately answering questions, and then even if you're not involved in trivia, you still talk about the trivia with the person that you're with. I'm getting those vibes right now. Oh
Yeah,
my
well,
God,
you know,
Starbucks.
Starbucks. So which came first, Starbucks or Kim Kardashian? I'll be honest, I could not tell you how
Oh.
old she is. You know, when I looked at this, you know, because I mean, she could be like,
Hmm.
I looking at her and knowing the story, I'm like, wow, she could be like early 20s or like late 40s. She looks old as shit sometimes and young as shit, but I know with the filters. But anyhow, in all seriousness,
Yeah.
which came first, Starbucks or
Ooh,
Kim
this one's gonna be
Kardashian?
close. This one's gonna be close. Hmm. I'm gonna say my gut tells me that Starbucks came first,
And you're going to go with your gut?
and I'm gonna go with my gut.
You sure are correct.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's closer than closer than you think. Again, she's actually younger. Well, younger than me, older than you. I thought
Yes.
she was older than me, to be honest with you. But like I said, I don't know. But yeah, the first Starbucks opened in Seattle, 1971. I did not realize
Ooh.
Starbucks was that fucking old. Like again, I don't know.
It
I
was a
just
thing. I've
all
never
right.
like honestly, I rarely go to Starbucks. I don't know if you do. I'm not trying to shit
Very
on
rare.
Starbucks, but
Sometimes
I
it's
rarely
very
go
special
there.
occasion. I'll do like the mocha frappuccino or something like that. I that was one, but I
Wow. Sounds
very
like
rarely.
dessert.
It is. That's why it's like it would be a special treat for me. And but yeah, I rarely go to Starbucks anymore. But if it is, it's pretty much for that. So all right, this one,
Mm.
which came
Mm.
first, Game
This is gonna be
Boy? So the
close, I think.
original Game Boy or Jennifer Lawrence? There is only a 1 year difference between these two. That's how fucking hard this was. This might be
Yeah,
one of the
feels
hardest
like
ones,
it.
but this is probably the closest one out of all of these. Maybe not the hardest, but the closest.
My gut is saying Jennifer Lawrence. I'm gonna go with my gut.
Always go with your gut. But this time your gut is actually wrong. Game Boy came before Jennifer Lawrence. 89 for Game Boy. She was born in 1990.
89?
80, the first Game Boy,
I was
yeah.
more of a 90s.
Yeah,
That's
you would
what I was
think.
like. This
But
is yeah.
so the first Game Boy was released when the Wizard was released. So I'm like, why did
Oh,
they promote that
the
shit? But
poor
yeah, because
wizard.
there's pretty much. But yeah, the Game Boy, I guess 1989. So
Wow.
it was
I didn't
really
know it was
close.
that much in the 90s. Like I know
Oh,
that
I
the
remember it being
robot
in the
came out for
90s.
Nintendo.
I would have thought more mid 90s. Actually, if I would have racked my brain and
Like
which
I
friends
played
had.
it in the 90s. Like it definitely. I mean, Pokemon. Like one of the first Pokemons came out on the Game Boy. It was like in black and white, if I remember.
Maybe. I never played Pokemon. I actually never had a Game Boy. I just knew I had friends that had it. And I remember
Yeah.
Tetris, obviously. Tetris was always the first game everyone always played. Um,
Yeah. I
yeah.
played like a really shitty port of like Fist of the North Star on it, and I remember just you had to get a whole fucking contraption just to have it shoot light onto the screen because it
Yeah.
wasn't fucking backlit.
The
That's why
first Game Boy is correct.
The Game Gear was a little bit more cool because the Game Gear came out and nobody bought it. But at least the Game Gear had colors to it. Like I think I played
Yeah.
like Mickey's fucking haunted castle or some shit,
Yeah.
and a few other things, and it looked good. It looked good. It looked way better than fucking Game Boy. Game Boy was some bullshit.
Yeah, the original one took a little bit, but then yeah, they have the Game Boy Color and stuff like that, and they fixed the light problem because yeah, a lot of people there was the contraption or like you just couldn't be
You had to
in
buy
your
an
room.
extension for it. Like,
Yeah,
or you couldn't play that shit in the dark. Are you fucking kidding me?
yeah, no, there was no way. So, but yeah, so that one was a tough one. Remember floppy disk, Soto? Floppy disk
I
were a
do.
thing.
Of
That
course I
kids these
do.
days would have no idea. They're just like, oh,
I
it's the
played some of my
save
first
symbol.
games on a floppy disk. Like some of the
Yes,
first games I ever played would come from a floppy disk that I had to install question mark. I don't even remember how we did that shit. We had to enter like 5 or 6 of them to
correct.
get the game to be
Just as
installed or
just
some shit.
installed, and then yeah, like, oh my god, and it's just the
Uh,
shit you can save on it. But which came first, the floppy disk or Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
oh, I feel like The Rock came first.
The
Floppy
Rock
disk
came
is like
first.
in the 80s.
Really?
I
You
don't
think the
know.
floppy disk was 80s? Because the floppy disk actually came first. The first one came out in 67. The Rock was born in 72.
67?
67. I didn't think it was that old either. I thought maybe 70s because I remember a lot of this when I was I say kid, but so I knew it was in the 80s, but I would have felt more like mid late 70s. But yeah,
The floppy
the
disk,
floppy
man.
disk came
Dude,
first. But you
there are
know what?
people who have no idea what the fuck that is.
No. But
Never even
think about
held
that
one.
though. when did we start getting like home computers and stuff like that? Because that is what I know probably skewed the thought of process of this. Because because I remember early '80s, like we didn't have a computer. I felt like more late '80s, maybe
We did
early
late 80s. We
'90s.
we ended up getting like a Tandy like in like 86, 87 or some shit like that. And I remember playing like a video game version of the Black Cauldron Disney movie.
Hmm.
Um and having to play an RPG that way. And then I eventually ended up playing an Indiana Jones game, not on a Tandy, but like around the same kind of time frame. It was like Indiana Jones and like the Lost City of Atlantis or some shit.
Huh.
Um, and I played that shit a lot too. So yeah, I again, it's like PCs came to my life and I immediately was using them for video games. Oh,
We had
what
our
else?
we had our priorities. Screw
Hell
those
yeah,
guys. Yeah.
absolutely,
All right. So I think there's only a couple more, and these are going to be the
sure.
more very interesting ones. Which came first,
Oh,
McDonald's or Alex Trebek? God
oh
miss
God.
Alex Trebek, but yeah, which came first?
I know McDonald's is not as old as people think, so I'm gonna go with Alex Trebek.
You, sir, are correct. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the first McDonald's was 1955.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, yeah,
And it was
Alex
an
Trebek was
original
born.
company that turned into McDonald's or some shit
Correct.
like
It's
that.
not like
Yes.
what it was we knew now, I believe. But yes, 1955, which still surprised me. I mean, I guess so, because that was back, the diner days, the burger days, and stuff like that. But yeah, so they're going to be 70 soon. Oh, my God. Oh, all right. One more
Wow.
before we end this kind
Sure.
of little fun little game. And I had a laugh at this one. Oh
Oh
my
my
God, this
God.
is a lot tougher than I thought it would be for me. But which came first, the Barbie doll or Morgan Freeman?
Dude. Fuck, man. Morgan Freeman's old as fuck. Oh, shit. Trying to rack my brain.
Not easy, is it?
No. Dude, I don't know. Morgan Freeman's mad old. I'm gonna go with Morgan Freeman on this one, man.
Even though
He's probably
Barbie.
born in 1912.
No, not 1912, but yes, Morgan Freeman is older. He was born in 1937. But the
Okay.
first Barbie doll came out in 1959, and I actually thought Barbie was older than that. I knew it was 50s. I just thought for some reason it was
I knew it
early
was
50s, like the
50s.
very first ones, because I don't know when they got mass produced, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman is older. Got it by 18 years, but yeah, if you think how old Barbie is, it's
Hmm.
insane. She's been around quite a long time. I
Yeah,
mean, if my
Barbie's
math is
having a
correct, she's
moment right
turning
now.
65 this year, so uh,
She's still on people's brains. I haven't seen that movie, but people talk
I,
about it.
yeah, yeah, I haven't seen that either. One day I'll probably pop on and I'll do it, but it
When
has
you
been a
when you
while.
get back to watching movies
Never.
that
So
aren't the worst movies, you're like, I only watch movies that are shitty.
pretty much, but yeah. So those are just some of the things that I just found interesting. I'm like, all right, let's see how much Soto can guess, and you got the majority right. I think there's a couple trick ones in there,
Yeah,
but
there's a
yeah.
couple real
So
close ones for sure.
yeah,
I
the
would have
Jennifer
no
Lawrence
idea.
Game Boy one was very difficult one, but yeah.
Yeah.
So